Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to take a look at our urban worm bag that has the European Nightcrawlers in it. So this is the second iteration of the urban worm bag. It has a little flange on the bottom or flap on the bottom to help you sort of empty it. And today we are going to do a harvest. Now, for those of you that tuned in to my video that was yesterday, I did, or tried, I should say, to do a harvest of my trash can system. And it's one of the reasons why I really do think that for those looking to get into composting, if you're looking at these large flow-through systems, I do recommend going with a bag system over building your own with a trash can. It's just a lot easier to harvest. So with that, we are going to do a harvest, we're going to do a feeding, and then we're also going to probably add some crushed crab and eggshell and see where the system lays after this harvest, how much material we take out of there. Now with this, we're going to be adding in just under 6 pounds of food. This is a little bit light feeding, but that's partially because the stuff in here has been sitting in my freezer for a while. It's dried out a little bit. There's not as much moisture content to it, but it's also okay. There's some corn cobs in there that are going to make up for that. And as you can see from last week when we added the 7 pounds of food, we'll see how that looks in the system as we dig into it, but I'm guessing that the majority of that will be gone when we take a look, especially after 25 days. So with that, let's get down to it and let's start harvesting. All right, here we are at the bottom of the system. I do want to let you know I did go in and remove my little fruit fly trap in there. I didn't want that to fall over and get vinegar all over the place, so I had that sitting outside. That's the only thing I've done, though, to prepare for this. There were a few fruit flies in there, but it wasn't too bad. But now it's time to open this up. So now we got to get the zipper going. And I am going to put on a glove. I don't think I'll need it really to grab the zipper, but I'm going to anyhow. I'm just going to start working my way around with the zipper here. There we go. And ooh, wow, we got a lot of moisture in here. I didn't realize how much moisture we had in here. It looks like there's a lot. All right, I'm going to rotate this. Glad I had my glove on for that. Now we're going to go ahead and pull this down. And I have to admit, I mean, this hasn't been dripping or anything like that, which is sort of nice, even though there is, you can see how wet this bag is. And I'm sure that the bottom portion is going to be really damp, and then it'll look really good, though. So we're going to go ahead and start getting this material out. And just so you can see this first stuff already, it's starting to look a little bit better as we go. Oops, I'm still hooked into that little, there's a little pull string down here that I got to loosen so I can get up in this bag. And it's really compact in here. Probably should have harvested it a little bit earlier. Maybe a slight odor to it, but nothing obnoxious. I'm not like gagging or anything like that. But you can see this material on the bottom is a little sticky. I probably should have harvested this sooner. I didn't realize how much moisture was down here, though. All right. And this is why I wear gloves, though, when I'm doing anything like this, is just that way I don't get this all over my hands. I already got some on my arm, but that's okay. I can wash that off later. But getting it under my fingernails is not fun as you're trying to get all this stuff out. Ah, wow. It's really compacted here at the bottom. But all this stuff is still, I mean, it's still flaking apart pretty well. It's a little muddy, but it's not too bad. But look how much easier this is to harvest compared to my other system that I had. We're still getting out, I don't know what that is. It's like a white paste. Is that an avocado or something? Maybe avocado seed, but it's weird. Yeah, it is. It's avocado seed that made it through. And now it's sort of a white paste in there. All right. Just throw that stuff over here. And at the end, we'll look at this up top where there's better lighting and everything. Right now, this is just the harvest, though. And really, as I said, I should be doing this more frequently than what I am. Part of the reason why I don't do it very often is because I try to record it for you. And recording this is not the easiest thing to do. I have to make sure I stay out of the way of the camera. I have to make sure that I get all the lighting right so you can actually see stuff. So it's just a lot harder to record this than it is on top, where I can just hook up a camera real quick and record down. This one has to be, the camera has to be upside down and all sorts of other stuff. So there we go. We're getting a lot out here. All right. Still the same type of material. It's not nearly as wet as just that bottom section was, but there's a lot of moisture that's run down to the bottom here. I'm just trying to pull down what I can. So again, we're getting these large chunks. This is actually a mango seed right here. We'll have to throw this back in the top and let them work on that some more. Might be some stuff down here from a while ago that never really fully decomposed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hug the bag and sort of push it in and try to push things towards the center. Gosh, I keep getting caught on. I know this is a shirt string that it's coming out here. I thought that was the same string as the bag, but that's a shirt string or towel or something that I threw in here a while ago. And here's the tag for it right there. Look at that. So this is a Hanes, this is a Kirkland Brands t-shirt that went through the system. As you can see, all the string on here that is not cotton. Let's just see here if I can get a little bit more out on the sides. All right. And as I said, one of the things that you can do with these systems that's really great is you can push in on the sides. I'm going to just sort of hug it right now. Try to push in. Kind of pound it on a little bit. Try to loosen up these sides so I can get the material off the sides to come out. I feel something in here that I knew was going to come out. We'll have to see if we can get it here in just a minute, and I'll show you. I got it. Okay. Just as we had with our trash can system in our urban worm bag, we had a coconut shell. Here it is right here. It is filled with castings. We're just going to take it out though now. I think this is done. I'm just trying to hollow it out a little bit here, but see, you can see right there our coconut shell. We're going to keep that out. We're not going to put it right back in the top. And with that, some more stuff came out too. Material is a little bit muddy this time. Normally it's not quite this bad, but hey, you know, you can't always get perfect material out. But you can see we're getting a lot of great castings here out of the bottom though. Just an absolute ton. Oh, that's that same shirt, I think. Just push some of this over to this side. Got a lot of stuff that's come out here. Need to get out of the way so we can get more out. And actually, oh wait, hold on here. I see my first worms. So hopefully you guys can see that. Oops. The first worm out of the system. That should go back in the top, but that probably won't. I mean, like, it's too hard for me to really sort all of this just to get out a couple worms. So normally this stuff will just end up in my garden or yard. All right. Trying to get a little bit more out. It's easier, I have to admit, what would be easier is if I could block your view and give this system a big hug and sort of push in all of these sides, you know, sort of like this, and get it all to move towards the center, and then it all just sort of seems to fall out, which just happened here. There's actually a ton of worms that just came out this time too. But that's what happens, and then you start getting some of your material. Now the key is to make sure that you don't have the entire system fall down from the center. I've had that happen a couple times. It's not fun when that happens. So that's where, right now we got out quite a bit of material. We're starting to get more and more worms and some uncomposted things now. So I'm probably going to go ahead and close this off and we'll go to the top. And I mean, I really hollowed out the center here. Let me reach into the other side real quick. Let's just see here. Oh, hold on a little bit more. There we go. You just got to scrape all the walls off. But yeah, there's going to be some uncomposted stuff in here. I'm going to throw this into my compost tub that I have that I store everything in. It's a 55-gallon tote with, you know, some worms will be in there and they'll finish all this stuff off. So that's what happens. Now, some of these things that are really uncomposted, such as this mango seed, that's going to go back in the top. We'll let the worms finish that off. Let's just see if I can, anything else here that's right near the bottom. Gotta just scrape these inside walls here a little bit. See, getting out a few more worms here, some more uncomposted stuff like this avocado shell. A couple worms. And I think that's pretty good. I think we've done a good job. We've gotten out maybe, I don't know, a mortar tray full here. It's hard to tell. Probably about 3/4 of a mortar tray full. This is a medium-sized mortar tray. I don't know what the size is really. It's probably, if I had to guess, like a couple gallons. But we're going to go ahead and close this back up, zip it back up, and that'll be it. I'm trying to do this one-handed because I don't really want to get my other hand all covered in and castings and everything. It's a little wet here at the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to just use one hand here. I'm just using one hand to cinch this closed. If I can. All right, maybe I need the other hand here. There we go. There we go. Now it's closed. And then we're going to go ahead and move this out just a little bit. Bring our bottom back up here. Double check that everything is shoved in here nice and so we're not trying to zip this up with it being really bad. There we go. Everything's in there. And now we can go ahead and zip this up. One nice thing is that even though there's casting stuck in here, I have not found that the redesigned system, I found that this zipper doesn't get stuck like it used to on the old one. It still just works every time. The version 1 design had a different size zipper and would get stuck. I think I've got that most of the way, but I'm missing a little bit there. There's some mud or castings caked in here, but that's okay. And I think that's it. We'll take this up top, we'll take a look at it so you can see really what's in here, and then we'll add some of this back into the system. So I'll be back in just a minute. All right, before we get into the bin, here is our material that we harvested from here. I got a lot on my gloves here. I'm gonna have to wash these off at some point. But as you can see, it does look, by the way, I looked it up. This is a 14-gallon tray here, so we probably have about 8 to 10 gallons of material in here from that system. And you can just see, it looks kind of wet, but it still looks pretty good. Some of it's a little bit more crunchy together, and it's dried out a little bit, and then remoistened and dried out and remoistened. But it still looks all pretty good. There's no real odor to this. It doesn't smell bad or anything like that, like if it had gone anaerobic. But there are a couple of things that didn't break down. I'm just going to throw them in this these mango seeds in here. We'll have to put those back in. We've got an avocado, or another mango seed. Those do take a while. A little bit of avocado shell. But look at this. You can just tell this material, it looks really good. There's a couple of things that just take longer to break down. Those are pretty much broken down. As I said, some of this stuff can just be broken down in my storage system. I'm not too worried about it. This will also add some much needed moisture. The only thing I do want to get out of here, and also by the way, even these worms right here, no big deal. They can go into the other system. I can lose a couple. You can never get them all. You can never make this a perfect harvest. I am going to take this out right here. This needs to be thrown away. This is that string for the shirt. I will make sure to always cut all these different pieces off the shirts next time. Look at this. I do try to compost my shirts as much as possible, but this is getting strings like this in there that you got to remove are difficult to deal with. So there we go. We've got that out. And put that off to the side. I'll throw that away afterwards. Got this another piece of avocado shell there. And then here's one thing I still keep finding in my bins is plastic. Every once in a while I just find a piece of plastic. It just seems like I can't get rid of it all. I don't know what it was in, but there was something I shredded up that it was in, or something that it's still in. And every once in a while I find a piece of plastic in my systems. Looks like another avocado shell. Another piece of plastic right here. What's amazing is how quickly, another one, it shows up in these. And I wonder if this is some junk mail that I shredded up thinking it didn't have any plastic in it because of the way it felt. And it did. So, note to self, no more shredding of junk mail. And it might be a good note for you as well if you're watching this. Maybe junk mail is not the best thing to throw into your system. So with that, it looks like we've got another piece of avocado shell over there. There was that one that was like white. Here we go. Looks like a white blob in here or something like that. I don't know what that is. Some of it just fell away, but that was an avocado shell, I think, but I don't know why it did this. Turned into like a white goop in here, but we'll put that back through the system. We'll let the worms work on it, see if they can sort it out. But you can tell, this material is definitely more damp than I would like it, but it's still really good material. If we're mixing this in with soil or something like that, it'd be really good. I usually use this on top dressing on my lawn, and some of my trees especially. I'll actually dig holes and add this to holes around my trees, and that way it kind of gets that nutrients in there right by the root system where water can work through it and drag this into the yard because it's primarily clay that I live in. So with that, let's move this out of the way. Let's get to our system, and we'll be right back. All right, here we go. Here is our system. I did open this before, as I said, to remove the fruit fly magnet in here, which was working pretty well. It was actually covered with some fruit flies that I vacuumed off. There were some fruit flies that escaped, so you know that's just the way the system is going right now. Plenty of moisture in here. So, as we saw on the bottom, there's plenty of moisture down there. And the system on top looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and grab the glove here and take a look. I'm sure this is going to fall around a lot, as we just did a harvest on the bottom. And I see it already separating from the walls a little bit. There's some fruit flies over there. A few more taken off more than I thought, but that's okay. We'll just keep going here. We're just going to take a look over here. First off, oh, we've got food left in here. Actually, surprisingly, a large amount of food. We got some of our coffee grounds in here. They didn't break apart, so some of that 7 pounds we had last time is still there. Let's just go here into the center section a little bit. As I said, this is going to start to move as we dig in here a little bit. Here's one of these straws. It looks like it is breaking apart a little bit. Now we can see it starting to fall through the center section because there's a big gap in the middle. And that's what happens when you have one of these systems. They tend to get that gap in the middle, and then all of a sudden everything falls in. We've got some corn on the cob left over. Actually, let me just zoom everybody in just a little bit more. There we go. No reason to be that far away. More coffee grounds. What's interesting is the coffee grounds look a little dry. But overall, system's looking pretty good. Most of the food seems to be gone. And you can see the material on top looks really, really good. So with that, we're going to go ahead and put everything back. Hopefully give the worms a chance to kind of dig down in here before we add some of our frozen stuff. Oops, wait a minute. We did have one of our pepper plants was growing a little bit. But there's plenty of worms in here. They look good. We do have some red mites accumulating. Let's see if I can scrape some of them up so you can see. Right there on my glove, if you can see them. There's some red mites that are starting to take over in the system a little bit. Not too worried about them. Or brown mites or whatever they are. You know, I'm not worried about mites too much. That usually comes in with a lot of moisture, so it shows that there was maybe a little bit too much moisture in this system. We'll have to tone it back a little bit. These coffee grounds, these canisters did not break open like I expected. So there we go. Now everything's broken open there. We're not going to add too much moisture, but we are going to dump in first all the stuff that was from our harvest that did not break down, except for this coconut shell. There we go. And now we're going to start throwing in our food. Now, first thing first, I do actually have an extra bag here of grapes that I had on top of that when I weighed it. I mean, this was, because I'm running out of food to put in here, which is why this is a little bit lighter, and it also should be kind of dry. But that's our first little bag of stuff for this feeding. That's going to be under 6 pounds. And here's our second container here. Just give me a second. This one, as I said, has corn on the cob. So these take a while to break down, and I think everyone knows that they will take a while. We've seen those before. Look at this, I can just rip this apart. We got some tea leaves in there, coffee grounds. These are, I forget what kind of tea leaves these are. I have to look it up again. I can't remember. I think those might be green dragon tea leaves. I think that's what it was called. Some lettuce. Banana peel. We always have bananas. We're just going to spread out these cobs though. And we've got lots of banana peels here. We're going to break those apart too before we add in our second container. And as I said, this stuff has been in there for a while. Can I break these apart? Yes, I can. Let's break these in half. I'm just breaking them along the side here. I've got my hand on the back side. You can see it probably pushed there. And that's just going to make them, give a little bit more surface area. Technically doubling it, I guess, with the, since we're getting double the surface area for each one. Probably should actually break these up before I throw them in there, but I never think to do that. All right. And we've got a tea bag in here too. So, Twinnings tea. All right. Now our second one here, this is one has been in, I think, for possibly well over a year at this point, because it's October, and look at this, there's a pumpkin in this one. So I think this one's been sitting in the basement for a while in the freezer. I think it was lost down in the bottom section. And everything in here is just overly dry, which is why it was so light. So, in fact, this might have been in there for 2 years. This pumpkin might be from 2 years ago. Because I don't think we had any little pumpkins last year. And it's like, I feel like I can rip into it with my fingers almost. I mean, look at that. It's like, even though it's frozen, there's no moisture left in it. All the moisture just sort of oozed out of it and went into the freezer. So, we'll put that over on this lower side right here. With that, we've got some orange peels. We've got some tea bags, coffee grounds again. Can't believe those coffee grounds really last time didn't really break open either. We've got more tea grounds. This is a, I can't think of it. I think it's a herbal tea of some sort, but I can't remember what it is now. Raspberry, some more tea. All right, I think that's pretty good. I think it's as much as I'm going to break it down, but light feeding this time, but you know what? After opening this up, I think that's a good thing to maybe have a lighter feeding, less water as well. But we are still going to add in our crushed crab and eggshell. So I'm going to put my mask on here, and again, you should always wear a mask when using this stuff. I will stress that every time that I can. So you can see there's already a little cloud of smoke coming off of there. We're going to be nice and generous with our application here. Especially where there's some orange/clementine stuff. By the way, also after this, I always wash my hands. Even though I've got a glove on this one, I will still wash my hands off too. So with that, now we're ready for our layer of cardboard. And this cardboard is pre-moistened in water with BTI mix, as always. And I do have a fresh BTI tablet that I added in there. I think it had worn off. I think I had it in there for over a month when I started looking at the dates. So, all right. Just trying to pull this stuff out of here. There we go. I don't really want that exposed too much, but all right. There we go. It's a little bit dry in the center there. That's okay. We're going to just scrape out this container now. Try to scrape everything we can out of here. There we go. That looks good. And now we're ready to come back in a couple weeks, check this out, see how it's doing, and see if this will sink in. There might be a collapse after this this update. Oh wait, hold on. One more thing, we got to add in our little container here to lure those fruit flies away to their doom. I see a couple of them climbing up here now. Hopefully they'll go into this trap, and that way we don't have too many more of them in here. So with that, that's our update for this week. Again, I still recommend these systems over the trash can system, even though it's cheaper to build the trash can system. I just think that these are easier to work with in the long run. I mean, first off, it's all closed on the bottom. I didn't have anything coming in or out of the bottom or anything coming in and out of the top. And yeah, you can add cloth and things like that, and you can customize it, but I still think harvesting on this is a lot easier than the other system. Actually, I'm going to pull these zippers over. And that's it for this system. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any questions or comments. And tomorrow we'll do the Vermibag Max. We'll do a harvest on that one. Thanks for watching.